UAE has definitely opened up my eyes to the opportunities that the world does provide for me. Whenever you change a career path or whenever you change a country or a state, you always have to re-establish yourself.
Like kind of transit from the whole business environment, business development, towards more like art and beauty and lifestyle and blogging.
Just day-to-day expenses. You can live on a low budget here if you need to. What is going to make sense economically for you to live in? Which area are you going to be in? Can you do Blue Waters? Can you do Jumeirah? Do you need to go to Deira? And I think that a lot of the times the women on this side of the world are mixing the traditional piece with the feminine part.
Welcome to Xenia Talks. And today I'm excited to introduce an incredibly inspiring guest. She is a creative visionary and she made her mark in Dubai and California, seamlessly blending in between the worlds of art, music, and entrepreneurship. From the fashion and lifestyle content to a business development presence, she is a true force of nature. Not only she competed in prestigious Miss Middle East competition, but also making wave with her unique music style and exciting future projects. I'm so excited to present today one and only Sabrina Deep. Sabrina, thank you so much for coming. It was amazing to meet you, first of all. And, as much as we knew each other, I felt like there are so many things that we can really share on the podcast. And yeah, here you are.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here with you.
My pleasure. And the first question that really was, exciting for me to discuss with you. You were born in California.
Yes.
And now you're in Dubai. So I believe it was a recent move that you've done from US to Middle East. Just briefly, how did it go? For me, what's interesting to observe is the differences, maybe the mentality differences, the culture, everything basically, whatever you experienced within the transition towards Middle East will be interesting to hear.
Absolutely. I think that that's a very interesting topic because moving from California to Dubai has its differences, and both in good ways. I would say California is a place where you can find your individual freedom and pursue it freely by being yourself, and you have your dreams and you're always looking forward to what's next and what to do. While in Dubai, I feel like there is a bigger community, more involvement together to actually make those dreams do come true. So moving from California to Dubai and having the ability to be a worldly woman and going back and forth between the States and UAE has definitely opened up my eyes to the opportunities that the world does provide for me and provide for others that want to make the shift.
I like to ask people who are moving to Dubai about, first of all, how did they hear about that? Is Dubai really known due to its marketing in back to US? How did you find out and how did you feel safe to go by yourself in the Middle East?
I was lucky. I do have extended family in the area, so they were hoping that I would make the switch or at least come visit. Right. So I did so a few years back, and it really opened my eyes as to what a potential opportunity it was. So it was a dream of mine. So when I did visit, I said, okay, yes, I think I do need to come and be here for a bit. Amazing. So definitely having that family did help. Yeah. So I was able to book that one-way flight pretty quickly.
Yeah, with no turning back, hopefully.
Yeah. Just go visit here and there and whatnot.
Yeah. But would you say the people who, let's say somebody who doesn't have family in UAE, do they know a lot about Dubai? Do they understand that how easy it is to work here, how safe it is, all of those things? Do people know, or it's still like a little bit of dark area?
I think that with social media these days, it has come to light that UAE is a safer environment, especially more so than the US, right. Unfortunate as it is. I would say it does offer the safety value to it, and social media has made that apparent over the last few years. And I've definitely kind of shown that to the people around me to show them that there is a different way of living, which can be more of a luxurious, more fast-paced lifestyle in Dubai.
And do they believe like we are all in gold over here? That's another stereotype. We're all swimming in gold. Like
I wish we were swimming in gold.
I swear, like, where is the gold? Every time they're saying you're in gold, and we're like, where?
But no, I don't think so. I think they understand that it's still, you have to work for what you need. But I think the community is a little bit different. And the fact that it's so diverse with the expats, what is it? 80% of UAE is all expats, correct?
Yes.
So that diversity allows you to be who you are in the way that you need to be with respects of UAE, and being able to fulfill your dreams.
Wow, that's really great to hear, that, because I came to Dubai like almost 19 years back. Of course, Dubai wasn't so much easy as it is right now. We really made our way through a lot of struggles and everything. Now coming to the point of business, because most of my guests who actually I interview on the podcast, they are the ones who came earlier and they were opening up their businesses and they were struggling with that a lot. And that's why I actually, wanted to hear how this whole thing goes. Now, when you're coming and you as a woman start to do some work, some business, the social media specifically now, thanks God, Dubai is so open for those things. How did you feel the response? Like, I mean, you haven't had this old connections or like all these people over the years, the ones that we gained, with experience. So you had to start from the scratch. How was your experience with that part? Were you like welcome? How did it move?
I'll say that my experience that I had in California, being in B2B networking and just throwing out my extroverted side to meet people, when I came to UAE, I used that skill set and that empowerment to be able to meet people here, joining different networking groups, getting to know people, just putting myself out there, but in the respects of, being an independent woman, being a woman that thrives, but also keeping my traditional values in place so that it's also coming from a business standpoint, it's coming from a networking standpoint, more from a social perspective, but within the boundaries that make sense for me.
Right, and that's, I think, the challenge of keeping the business mix with traditional mix, because as women we get carried away with the work and with new exciting stuff going on, and Dubai is full of that, especially when it comes to events, even how we met, right? I mean, the Miss Middle East, it was something mind-blowing for me, and I'm sure for you it was something like we would never even expect that, first of all, to be a part of that, and second, like the whole journey itself, it was really something as an experience. You have, like, what was your side of the story? Of course, I have mine, which, sometimes I share with the family and friends, but I want to know how was it for you, for the person who is, let's say new to the Middle East?
For Mrs. Universe Middle East, it was very eye-opening. It allowed me to come out of my comfort zone and be able to meet hundreds of beautiful women, and they're so smart and intelligent, and everyone is in a different space. So getting to know so many great people, as well as the experience itself, making you have that more feminine side, being able to embrace it, being able to build relationships with other people, and understand that being a woman, you can be multi-talented, you can be multi-versed, and it is okay to put yourself out there. So my favorite experience of the whole thing was being able to sing one of my songs on stage in front of everybody. So as nerve-wracking as it is, I am so proud of being able to do that, especially with everyone that I've made friends with there, and being able to showcase who I am, what I'm there to be for, and what I stand for.
Now, coming back to the fact that you already have, I think you're building your album right now with the music, and that's very interesting. What did inspire you for writing your own songs? And you started back in California, right? Just before you came here, and then you haven't been that much exposed over there with this art, but you have started more eagerly to do it here.
Yes. So when I was in California, I was very much heavily invested in being in corporations, Fortune 500 companies, building up firms. So that's really where my head focus was. Yeah. But when I was on that flight, I actually wrote, I think, like 10 poems. Wow. And it's a 16-hour flight, right? To go from LAX to Dubai.
I read three books at that time.
I was like, all right, I'll write.
Yeah. Let me go in. Yeah.
And I think that being able to write all of those, I was able to come here and speak to a couple of different coaches, be put into the industry, and it just happened. Honestly, I feel like one door just kept opening after the next. I started to meet new people within the industry, and I revamped them to be lyrics, to be songs. Picked up my piano again to be able to pull the right notes for the music, compose, get the melody all together. So the first song that was released is Center Ground. And then my artist name is Sabi D, Sabi-DE. So
We'll put it later on the social media. You guys can listen and enjoy Sabrina's music.
It was honestly amazing. And right now I have more coming out soon, more projects, hopefully before the end of 2024. So you'll be able to see a couple more songs come out.
Oh, that's lovely, lovely. Because I'm so related to music as well. I love singing in general. I've never actually stepped into the writing something, but seeing and feeling women opening up themselves so much in Middle East, because there is a stereotypes existing that women in Middle East, they're not that much free comparing to, let's say, to the West side. And seeing how even coming recently to Dubai, you can already tap into the connections that help you to unleash all your talents and to be within the competitions.
There is a big difference between the Western side and this side, because in the US, you can be whatever you want to be, you can be open, but at the same time, me, myself, having that mix, I don't want to lose the values that I have. So being here has allowed me to embrace both sides without having to worry. And it's made things a lot easier because I am Arab American. So being
Which
here,
I would never say when I'm looking at you, like impossible to get pure American.
Surprise!
Right.
But I love embracing both sides, and I should, because that's who I am.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think Dubai is really giving this platform for bigs like yourself and many of the other people who actually maybe were studying in Europe or in US, and then they're coming back and they find here everything, whatever they need to actually for a success. Now, speaking of because there's a lot of safety patterns that going around, like sometimes they say, I don't know, I have been in California. I haven't felt any kind of problems over there. But sometimes when we were like driving at night and things like that, there was a little bit of things going on where you just feel like it was closer by to Santa Barbara, and I think not the San Diego, but before that. So, as of my experience, when the actually police came to us and said, don't try to drive around this area, it's not very safe. I was like, what? Like how police is telling you that? I was like, you guys are not going to do something about that? Aren't you there for that? But anyways, how do you experience that? Was there a time back home where you would not walk at night, for example? You would have timings where you would be outside freely or where you wouldn't be? In comparison to Middle East, of course, to Dubai.
I definitely think in Dubai, it's 100%, well, almost 100%, right?
There's nothing 100%.
Exactly. There's nothing 100%, but it is definitely more freeing here. In the States where I'm raised, I think there are certain areas, yes, and certain areas, no. You have to be cautious in some parts, just because there's things that you might not know, you might not see, it might not happen, and we don't want to get pushed into a bad situation. So maybe there's certain streets in LA you should avoid, or maybe be in a car, don't walk around, just be careful, just because the freedom that's out there is freeing. So it provides a lot.
Yeah, that's like the other side of the freedom in a sense,
Yes.
right? Like you're free, but don't do everything, whatever you want, right? Yeah. Over here, I think we do have, out of your sense, do you feel free in Dubai? Do you feel like you can do whatever you want in that sense?
Yeah, overall, I think the needs that I have
Yeah.
has allowed me to do what I need to do. And from a professional standpoint, from a social perspective, I don't have anything that's saying, oh, I wish it was this or I wish it was that. No, I feel like it's pretty overall satisfying.
Amazing. Now let's get to the other side, about the challenges, because I always everybody loves challenges, right? To hear about the challenges. When you moved, what was maybe something that you really didn't like and you feel like, oh, that's what I missed. Back home I had it, but in Dubai I don't.
Whenever you do something new, it's almost like starting over.
Right.
Whenever you change a career path or whenever you change a country or a state, you always have to reestablish yourself. So that piece piece of it might be the one thing that might hinder most from taking a step forward or a leap of faith. But I typically like to power through it. But that is probably the biggest thing that would hold me or anyone back. So for me, when I came here, I had this big repertoire in regards to my business, my education, the different things that I've done with companies, my business standpoint. So coming here, trying to explain that, it was not seen as fitting because it didn't come from the UAE. So that was maybe one of the biggest things where I had to prove myself to show, hey guys, this is real. I do have references. So not only just being able to say I have a reference on a piece of paper, but actually to show it in real time to others that I do have that business acumen.
Did they think that you were a little bit overqualified or something?
Sometimes either overqualified or overzealous in regards to how I would sell myself in the business world. In saying, oh, I got promoted 6 times in a company that I worked at for 7 years. But why? But how?
What did you do?
Yes, no, it is the revenue stream that we brought into the company. It was $500,000, it was 300K, it was $1 million, and it was just unforeseen or unimaginable to most companies, which is fine. I think that sometimes companies need to be a little bit open-minded that if somebody's going to change a career path from one to another, that person does have the right skill set to do it.
And then saying that, do you actually now kind of transit from the whole business environment, business development towards more like art and beauty and lifestyle and blogging? Is that something that you're looking forward to?
I feel like I'm the type of person that likes to keep something called mind mapping in mind, where I have more than one bucket for myself.
Right. Okay.
So I have my business bucket, I have the B2B, I have the marketing piece of it, I have the creativity, the fashion, the art, just the whole gamut of it I think is very important. I think maybe one day when my business grows to an extent, then I might fall off on the other side from a corporate perspective, but I think they're all very important for a fulfilling lifestyle.
And that's the thing, like sometimes people feel they are only supposed to be in one field, which I think that's what for the last few years, a lot of entrepreneurs actually broke that stereotype, showing that you could be a singer, but you could be also in sales, or you can be business development, but you could be a blogger and lifestyle and food and beauty and all of that. Like, because as you said, as women, we are so multi-talented. Sometimes we don't know where to put our talents. I'm talking about myself.
Yes, you are.
So, from that perspective, I agree with you that more people need to realize it's okay to actually fulfill their dreams, which they had from the childhood. Because, that's what are mainly the dreams are. From the childhood, we dream to be those singers. We want to be those, related to some art, because that's what the soul is asking, right? Kids are growing up, they've been told like, okay, being a lawyer is very good, being a banker is very good, being in corporate is very good. But then after you experience that, you feel like, yeah, that's a great experience, but my child from inside wasn't actually satisfied with all of that activities. So it's great to see that people realizing that, and I think you're one of the examples where you would like to combine things and to open up every side of the talent that you have.
Absolutely. And it's all with one mission in mind. At the end of the day, it's to be your authentic self.
Right.
It's to be that multi-talented person. For me, my projects all revolve around finding your inner voice, standing up for what you believe in, being your authentic self as a whole. So even in my music, that's the transition of what I'm trying to say within building relationships, networking, businesses, but also being who you are and keeping that in the most traditional way possible.
That's amazing. What was the inspiration? I mean, were you always writing something, or is it the first time when you got on the 16-hour plane and you decided, like, let me write a few poems?
I think what happened was I dabbled in art a lot, so I paint in acrylic, but I left my paintings in California, but I do have some. Yeah. And I think I dabbled in writing quite a bit, journaling, just for my own thoughts. And then I used to do poems as I was younger, but because I was swept into the corporate world for so long, I put my pen down for a minute and I just picked it right back up.
Wow, I love the way, those American style expressions that are very different from, because I usually, interview people who is like either from Middle East, exactly here, who are born here, but I can sense the language itself is even like the way how you build the things. It's, somebody who wants to learn proper English, you can just go to California and you can pick it up from there.
We're happy to help.
Would you recommend, let's say, any Americans to explore UAE as a place to go, as a place to...
Absolutely. Just like any other person that has come from various countries that you see here, just like you and I think anybody should be able to come and experience it, even if it's for a short vacation, just to see if it makes sense for them, just because everyone's raised a little bit differently, even in the US. So just being able to come and visit and see if it's going to make sense for that person. But overall, yes, I definitely would say, please come visit. What is it? Come to Dubai.
Habibi, come to Dubai. And we've got a lot of traffic already going on.
Yeah.
But still people coming. And I think the country itself, opening up more and more communities right now where, also you are not only in Dubai, right? As I understand, you're having part-time in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, you could say that I'm everywhere at this point. I still have my standing in California. I still have the things that I need to do there, but I'm between Dubai and Abu Dhabi here. So that's what I'm currently at. And I might open it up to the bigger GCC and the MENA region.
Amazing. Speaking of... not the personal, but a lot of people, they have this perception of the rich Arabs and, all of this sheikhs around. And have you had those stereotypes when you were coming to Dubai thinking, there are a lot of rich men here and a lot of, sheikhs who are like what women usually looking at, as a option to marry, option to, date and things like that. Have you had that from coming towards the Middle East? Because I know that Dubai has been branded in a certain way that they see, because a lot of rich people. So, it's a good place to actually find husband.
Thankfully my family is positioned pretty well. So for me, this isn't something that's like a sparkling gold in front of me. But I will say that in my business meetings, I have heard, this is a sheikh, this guy. I'm like, okay, that's nice. I'm proud of you. But I just see it as a business thing. I don't see it as, oh my God, this is what I want. No, I feel more from the emotional intelligence is more important to me, the heart, more than a title.
That's what men would love to hear, actually. Especially in the Middle East, where usually it's all about money,
You're right.
So when it comes to heart and emotions. Speaking about the competition, a lot of, by the way, when I was also with you, when we were in that one, after it finished, a few friends of mine actually called, said like, oh my God, you had the courage to go and you had this bravery to participate and everything, which I agree. Eventually, after everything was done, I was thinking, my God, I'm really brave to do that.
Yes.
But as from your perspective, would you recommend any woman to go through this experience? Because from my side, I have an answer of definitely yes. But what would you say to somebody who, who just saw okay, there is an option to be in competition?
100%. I've had people reach out to me just from my own experience, and they ask me, how's it going? What opportunities are there? What, how did you do it? What's going on? And I always give them an honest opinion, and I tell them what is available here for their whatever industry they're currently in. And then I take that into consideration and I tell them, okay, here are your options. This is what's possible. I can refer you to a couple of people. But even myself, I got on a one-way flight. It was a last-minute decision in the morning. To Dubai. And thankfully, I had somewhere to stay because I knew someone. But if you have a little bit more time to be able to situate yourself, do so. But it's possible. You just need to know the right people or understand where you can live. But everything is possible here. I would say coming from California, it is more economical here.
So talking about all this taxation, I guess, in US, that's what is the difference, right?
There's other differences as well. Right. Just day-to-day expenses. You can live on a low budget here if you need to. You talk to so many people here. There's different levels. Just depends on how you want to spend that month. You can spend it like a sheikh, but you can also spend it like you're not.
It's very convincing in Dubai to spend it, actually. But, I agree with you that if you have a wise budget, because in Dubai, it's a must, guys. It's a must to have budget in Dubai. Otherwise, you're going to spend everything, whatever you earn, because the place is very, very having a wide range of entertainment, you know, and going and also the shopping experience and everything. But that's good that you mentioned that, because a lot of people think it's very unaffordable to be here, which is absolutely not true.
I think that you should be budgeting regardless of where you are.
True.
Because the world itself is developed to a level where you need to be able to have your investments, have your savings, have your income, and also be able to budget all of that to make yourself in a good standing. If you're in California, if you're in Russia, and if you're in the Middle East, it doesn't matter, in my opinion. But
Financial education.
Exactly, having that financial education. And if not, there's a couple of YouTube videos out there. Take a look.
Check it out. We'll have to make one actually.
Yeah, why not?
About budgeting in Dubai. You know, I think it's a really good point, a good topic, budgeting in Dubai, because it's a very difficult to do budgeting in Dubai,
Yes.
but it's possible. And for some people, it's coming within the period of time. Some people have it inbuilt because at the end, like, you know, somebody maybe have financial backgrounds, but somebody is their emotional spender. So it all depends on the nature, I think, of the person. But Dubai definitely has a lot of seductions. And as I spoke to also my previous guest, like, you know, we talk about entertainment in Dubai, that's endless.
Absolutely. And there's a new place opening up every week.
Right.
So it's almost like, can you keep up with the Joneses type of situation? You want to be able to visit every restaurant, every lounge, every new hotspot that just came out. You know, it's within reason, but I think there's so many different places that is available in UAE especially in Dubai, where they're very nice places that you want to go to.
Very creative setups, yeah, definitely. I was just having recently video about the Blue Waters community. The restaurants over there are really overwhelming with the creativity. And that's what, you know, it's nice to see things from different perspectives and to go, definitely. The only problem, the catching up with the new ones, that's the hard part, because obviously you finished one and there's another 3 to go.
But it's nice, it's diverse. There's so many options, so many cuisines, so many styles.
You cannot get bored in Dubai, for sure.
Yeah.
This is the feeling that a lot of people get. So do you thinking of staying further? Like, do you think Dubai is going to be your home?
Yeah, I hope so. I think the world is my home overall. So I don't think I'll ever be able to let go of California in that sense, just because I was born and raised there. So for me, I will always have that there for me, but I will spend quite amount of time here, yes.
Just, you know, name maybe 3 things that you want to recommend to the newcomers, somebody who just sitting there now, either in the US, either in some other part of the world, and they're just sitting there to go to Dubai, not to go. Is it risky? People say this, people say that, because if you open YouTube, there is like literally 50-50. Like, there is some videos saying that it's horrible, don't go, and, you know, it's hard. And there are, you know, obviously the videos where you can have people advising. Now you're a prime example of someone who just moved, and you had it brilliant, in my opinion, so far.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what is your 3 main points? What do you keep in mind because I understand you love traveling, right?
Yes.
So when you travel to new places, definitely have that set of mind that helps you to adjust faster, to find more friends faster, to be like who you want to be successful in a new place. Let's put it this way.
I would definitely hop on some sites. And if you are looking for a position or a job, look at different recruiting sites, get yourself up and ready, get that resume ready. If you are a business owner and you want to stay in that entrepreneur aspect, or you want to open up another firm or a branch here, also it's possible. There's different options, from freelance visas in different ways, and the golden visa now, which is very popular these days. So there are so many different options to be able to have yourself successfully residing here. If it's through a company's visa or your own, that's number one. Just make sure that gets out of the way. Take a look at housing options. Take a look at what's on these various sites like Beirut, just to be able to see what is going to make sense economically for you to live in. Which area are you going to be in? Can you do Blue Waters? Can you do Jumeirah? Do you need to go to Deira? Like, you know, you got to figure out where you're going to go.
At the beginning, that's the way.
Sharjah.
Sharjah, Ajman is there as the last option.
Yes. So there's so many different options just to get your foot in the door. So networking, getting your foot within this visa situation, and then just taking a look at the housing. And also, I would say, going back to the budgeting part, make sure to have at least 6 months of funds with you whenever you make a move,
Right.
so that you're not freaking out, you're not struggling. And where's my next dollar gonna come from? Where's my next dirham gonna come from? Have at least 6 months savings.
100%. I say that always to the people who join real estate.
Yes.
Because it's like traveling to a new country with like unknown, because, people sometimes they look at the real estate and they think like a lot of money gonna fall on you the moment you step in, but it's not true. Everywhere, the work needs to be everywhere done. And of course, that's why I'm asking you, because for sure, like it takes efforts to establish yourself in the place that you haven't been before. Okay, you're lucky, like you had a part of family, so at least some emotional things are sorted. Because when I came here like 19, 20 years ago, had no one. Like calming down yourself, believing that everything is gonna work out.
Right.
And this is what pushes people, because I guess it's also a bit of fate.
Yes.
That if you're meant to be in that place and you are wired in terms of fate into that, then definitely it's going to happen. But for new people, because now Dubai is a little bit harder to get in some sense. Not harder, but like in terms of places to stay, settlements, like, at that time when we came, there was no like Emirates ID or things like that. It was nothing.
Oh.
You don't have to establish anything. You just come and you get your visa, and then the visa is in the passport. And, it was
Done.
kind of a easy time, And I remember I was running around trying to get driving license because it was the only ID. Because, when I used to work in the hotel, they used to take your passport so they can keep it with them. For this, I think, security reasons or whatever.
Okay.
But, like I didn't have an ID. so I would like go to this courses to take the driving license. So I would go anywhere if I need my ID, like this is the thing. But what I'm trying to say, Dubai is totally different nowadays. And that's why it's very great to hear someone who, like you pointed on budget, that was the first thing. Then networking for sure. This is something that is number 2, I say most important. And maybe number 3, something that you can add.
Yes. The visa.
Okay, visa. Yeah, visa is amazing thing. But if people coming on the tourist visa, would you recommend first to look for a job, or just come first like for vacations and to try it?
The smart thing is to have a job when you get here. But if you are financially situated and you feel like being spontaneous the way that I was, just come. Just see the land of opportunity. It creates your opportunity.
Okay, amazing. Sabrina, since you're coming from United States, the place where the feminism, I think, or Europe, I don't know, remember exactly where it came from, but that side of the world.
Okay.
Mixing this kind of, the feminine part, not the feminine, the feminist part, and actually traditional values, which, I don't know, it's not really opposite each other. I don't see it's contradicting, but I do feel they're different, because whatever the feminists are saying, it's not what the traditional women are saying. What is your stand on that?
It's a very good point, and it's very interesting, because when I ask about feminism to the women that are in the West Side versus the ones that are in the Middle East, in the UAE, they have a different answer as to what the meaning of feminism really is to start with, regardless of their values in the traditional sense. So the ones I would say in the Western side, a lot of them are portraying it as equality. And that equality is really revolved around the workspace. So if a man is doing an administrative job at $20 an hour, that woman is just expecting herself to be at the same level. But in all reality, as you can see these days, it might be 70% of what the man is making. So, there is that slight difference. And I think that's really what women are fighting for, is just like, hey, if I'm going to do a job that a man is doing, can I just get paid the same? That's where the equality is coming from. Yes, now we're in 2024 where it has gone a little left. And in the US, they've taken it to another level. But for me, myself, that's what I see as feminism. I just see it as, hey, if I'm multi-talented and I'm going to bring the same thing to the table, if not better, then I just want to be paid adequately for it. Not like how it was back in the day. I don't want to pick up a dumbbell of like 100 pounds the same way a man does. I'm not interested in that. I don't want to prove to you that I'm as strong as you, regardless of what my strength is. That's not the goal here. And I think that a lot of the times the women on this side of the world are mixing the traditional piece with the feminine part feminism part that they're seeing on the Western side. And they're kind of picking and choosing what they want. And like, oh, I can wear this because my feminism. But like in all reality, it's what makes sense for you, what makes sense for how you were raised, your culture. You know, you can push the boundaries to a certain limit, but overall the idea of it is a little convoluted because they're mixing the traditional piece of it with the feminism part. But it's really straightforward. It's just about being empowered as a woman in the way that we are. I'm not trying to mix my feminism with my masculinity, even though everyone has both. It's just if you are, like for myself, I am a woman. I have my feminism and I have my masculinism. And I push more on my feminism when there is someone in front of me that is more masculine. If I need to revert, then I will revert because it's what's needed in that present time with whoever I'm dealing with. It could be with you, it could be with a man, it could be any person.
Right.
And it's interchangeable. It's an energy in the sense. So for me, the ability to see that throughout the world, to understand that you can be able to move and flow between both energies is very important. It's more of an energy and what you're able to bring to the table. As you can see these days, we have, let's say, the Olympics.
Yeah.
You have men and women both in the Olympics, but you don't see the men competing with the women.
True.
They are
100%.
separate.
Well, there are some things now happening.
Some recently, yes, but even that was an uproar when it happened,
True.
and they were not happy with it because it's not correct. There is a certain line of what is going to be okay. They should not interact with one another, but at the same time, okay, let's talk military, for instance. In the US, men and women both want to be in the military. A woman has to do as much as a man to be able to prove herself and her worth for being in those sectors, no? So in that ability, yes, okay, maybe that's where feminism was fought for. And okay, we want to have, if a man wants to be in the military, a woman can too. I don't know. I don't think it's like that here on this side. It's usually mainly men, but I feel there might be some women that are in as well.
I've seen definitely, like I think in UAE for sure that there are women in not military but the police for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even
But
this,
then also I think, you know, the role that they've been given, even more feminine role in there. For example, sometimes, there were some rules that if the car is stopped and there is a woman inside, she shouldn't get out or step out of the car. If it's evening, then only the woman can ask her to step out of the car.
well, see, this is very nice. We
Yeah,
don't have
so
this in the US.
That's the point. So yeah, they definitely in here they take for consideration the fact of like, yeah, even if you want to be, you know, they actually inspire now to be for women to be a part of some huge organization, at least, I don't know, 20-30% to make sure that women are involved in that.
Absolutely.
But also it's not like, I mean, if you want, you do. If you don't want, you can stay at home and to be a mother and to, you know, like to be housewife. It's fine. And that's what I like about Middle East because over here, like men, they accept both roles of the women and they don't mind. I mean, some men actually, there is a tendency that they love women to work. But I think, you know, in here, it's more about her being busy, her mind being occupied, development, I think. So they could keep up with conversations because it's a fact when if you are not involved in world actions in a way, like you're not talking same language with the people who are around, right? It might throw you back a little bit. But it depends on the woman activity because also, you know, women can have hobbies which are very self-developing.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be even paid, but it's something that she's busy with, she's happy with, and that's what is, for me, for me, feminism is allowing women to do, you know, whatever she wants, but not taking away her feminine role and not putting masculine role on the top of her feminine role already so that she cannot handle it altogether. Because that's what happened, I feel like in the West, like they are... the work must be is in the way of like, yeah, you have to work, but also you have to carry forward all the female functions like children, like family, taking care. So women have double, and that's not fair. But the way you put it about the the equal pay, this is something else, definitely. When we both of us we do the work, it doesn't matter man or woman. If we both did it well, why should one get more and another one get less?
That's the origin of the whole story.
Yeah,
and that's.
But I think it went like a little bit too far in terms of pushing.
100%, and typically a lot of subjects get taken a little bit too far when you are allowed the freedom to do so.
Yeah.
But it's freeing as well to be able to be who you are and what you want to be, and I pour more of the power power to them. It's fine. As long as we have the basis understanding of what it truly means. So for me, I definitely see your perspective, and I completely agree with you about your perspective of what feminism truly is. And then also just the origins of the feminism topic does come around to having women's rights, to voting.
Yeah.
This is where it started. And then also Equal Pay Act. This is where the US was able to cultivate this action for women to have a voice.
Yeah, I think we're getting like now a proper mix in UAE, like where it's that part and that. But I think women themselves now, they're realizing that they don't want to go an extra mile now in terms of being in corporate all the time or just focusing on the business, because it is hard. It is hard to be a woman and the businesswoman at the same time.
Right.
If both roles are taken seriously, then it's not that easy to combine unless there is like abnormous amount of energy from, like women are different, right? Somebody has energy for that, somebody doesn't. Somebody has interest, somebody doesn't. And that's why, as you said, it has to be definitely whatever you want yourself and whatever makes you happy, but within the limits of gender roles. Gender roles is something that we cannot change. I mean, people do change, but then the question, who is happy about that? I don't think there's a high percentage of them are happy afterward. I've seen a lot of different stories about that. So yeah, but it's a different topic for a different podcast. If it comes one like that about that, maybe next time I'm going to have someone sharing their story about that. You never know. Yeah, Sabrina, is anything you want to say to your followers, to my followers, as a person who is, exploring the Middle East right now, all the way from US, and actually being a part of Miss Middle East? This is something like heavy, carrying the title of that.
I think being in the top 25 was fantastic for Miss Middle East, but the biggest takeaway I would say to anyone that wants to make that jump and that leap forward is to do it. And don't be scared. Don't let other people's mindset throw you off. Do what's right for you. Let the doors open. And if any doors close in front of you, let them. Maybe it's not your time to open that door. Open the ones that are just smoothly opening in front of you. If you're following the universe or you're following God or whatever it is that you believe in, just make sure that you are following yourself and what you believe is right for you and your path to success. So get on that flight and come to Dubai.
Yeah, and come to the podcast and tell your story to us.
And honestly, I also just in essence of it, being on your podcast is fantastic because you are not only just meeting people across the world, especially because UAE is such a diverse place. You're also interviewing people in a manner that is showing different stories and telling different sides. And then you yourself have a fantastic story to tell. And I bet you've already told your story 100 times.
Maybe one time. I should do it one time. And whoever doesn't know, I have to do it again.
Yes. And I hope to have you on my podcast one day.
Wow, that would be amazing. Or maybe on your concert.
Yes. Okay. Come on by.
Sabrina, thank you so much. It was amazing. And I think we had really covered the topics that I really wanted to hear. And it was absolute pleasure. You're amazing, as I said in the beginning, an inspiring guest.
Thank you.
So, yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.